yes or no, you know, in response that no one else said, this was, you know, an EVP, then that is an intelligent haunting. That is some sort of intelligent being responding to you.
Okay, demonic entities that you say they're rare, but who can forget The Exorcist? In the early 70s, that was the scariest. And I know that's been a long time ago now, but in its day, that was very high tech. And when Reagan came down those steps, and then when the head spun all the way around, that did it. I didn't sleep for weeks.
I know. I still really can't watch
The Exorcist.
No.
Well, my roommate and I had my own apartment at that time. I mean, we were absolutely terrified. But I think demonic, what's my word, where it overtakes you. We hadn't heard too much of that. The possession. We had not heard too much of that at that time. It had been sort of darkly, you know, in like the Middle Ages and things. But to think of a nowadays demonic possession was when they brought that to the forefront.
Hugely,
I mean,
like
it was
underground, unearthing this amazing.
But those really do happen and can happen, and you can be taken over.
But then again, Lana, now this goes back to being a Catholic. I remember sitting in church, Minnesota. I'm like 6 years old, and my priest saying I was at an exorcism. I participated in this. If you believe for 1 second that there is no Satan and there is no devil, you better think again. He scared the bejeebies out of me. To have that put in my mind, so in other words, I knew, listen, I knew there was a God, I knew there was a devil, and I got that in my head and I understood it. So I think that's another clear thing to keep in mind.
Okay, now a ghost can look like a full-size person, maybe in clothing from another period. Or remember Patrick Swayze? We've just seen so much about him since he just passed on. But when he did Ghost, and you know, then he's sort of fading back, but he looked like himself.
Right.
I mean, or can it really be, could they appear like we knew them?
I think what they do, this is my opinion, I've lost several family members, and I think they can, if it will comfort you.
Okay.
I think they can appear how it will most comfort you. Which is why I often hear that when people...
And let you understand.
I'm fine. My mom, when my father died, saw him. He died in his 50s. She saw him when he was probably about 35, 36. Great shape again, dressed to the nines, you know, and just, she said he smelled so good and just held her, you know, and... you know, that dream visit that we talk about, I'm sure you guys know what I mean. So for her, that was, you know, she said to me that was real. It was real. I completely believe her. Now, when I had my experience after my dad died, it was light. It was a light. It was a flight form. I knew it was my father.
That is so interesting.
You
just knew. You knew.
Oh no, it was amazing. It was it enveloped me.
Imparted, more imparted. The light imparted into you. It's me.
He knew I could maybe take a little more, so that's how I.
Wow, wow. Okay, now the ultimate goal of a ghost hunter in your book, you say, is to come face to face with the paranormal and then be able to prove it. Wouldn't that be? Is that the quest?
Sure it is, to get the ultimate, you know, and even when you do get the ultimate, you're always going to have the little naysayers that go, well, what if that was, you know, or whatever.
Explain it away.
I think for me, it's just got to come from, I'm more laid back on the sense that, you know, I think trusting your instincts, trusting your vibe, the people around you. Do you trust the people that you're with? If they say this happened, I mean, it's just, you have to really do all of that. And then you all, like I said too, people can walk into the same room, Lana, and then walk out, and this is with a ghost hunting group or whatever, Pink or whatever, and not say anything to each other, okay? Then they meet later, and they're like, okay, when I was in there, my hair was like lifted up, and then the other person had already experienced. Now, to me, hello, that works.
Yes.
I call that, you know, proof. but it's just, yeah, I mean, it's so quantifiably difficult to, clarify it for the purists, and, I can't even begin to. For me, it's much more of a, I just always knew it. I can't quantify God either, so.
So you just always accepted it. Okay, now you say ghosts exist in the front of the book because some are unfinished business. Some want to remain here. They're very attached to their surroundings. Some are seeking justice, that, it was a murder and I'm trying to get through what happened here.
Right.
Or some are attempting revenge. And then you say some, if they have murdered, they linger because they don't want to go on to the other dimension for fear.
Correct.
Of what awaits them there for...
Right.
Now they have to be accountable. So it could also be that. So there's many reasons
Absolutely.
that people stay behind. Okay, let me ask you this then. So you say, okay, so this is our dimension. Here you and I are today, and I can feel your arm, and I know you're solid and real. Okay, so when they go to this other dimension, let's say that they have lingered to pass off a message or for whatever reason. But when they go to the other dimension, then in your opinion, can they come back then?
I don't think they're technically even going to the other dimension. I think they're going sort of out of here, but not completely anywhere else.
Okay.
I think it is a limbo of sorts. That's how I look at it. It is not a
like
solid
this line.
set.
Like, we're here, cross to there.
It's
then
somewhere in there
right,
where it's like a holding cell.
I understand.
So I can figure it out.
In Loretta Lynn's story, and I read this a long time ago, but because I had never heard anyone really talk about it, she said, I think she was out in the field and her father had passed away, and she saw him walking toward her and then sort of disappear. And when she went inside, she just knew that it was so strange, and the phone was ringing and he had passed. So that was him saying, coming to her, and then he just disappeared, and so he was. So our soul can manifest after our living body is gone to you in your
and I do believe that there's some time to, now let's say you loved everybody, everything worked out, and you've got some time. Some choose to go around and like to go to their grandbaby, and say, hey honey, and wait, touch her again and give her a kiss and say, I'm not here right now, but I'm going to be waiting for you and it's going to be okay. Don't worry, warmth and light. And, and I think they know who to go to, who needs them.
And who needs to still hear from them one last time.
And then once the service is done,
goodbye. Okay, let's get to this fantastic book. She's given us a great overview of her perspective. And now here it is again. And Karen has chose Buffalo Ridge, which she and I talked on the phone before the show. This is a real, of course, the bride is been transposed into the picture. But here is Karen's real picture, and you really photographed these places. This is Buffalo Ridge. And I told her, to me, it was so eerie. I wouldn't go to Buffalo Ridge by myself in the daytime because I said, I don't want to be the bride's girlfriend in her updated version where Lana Kay is standing here. Now I'm transparent along with the bride because isolated locations, when there's nobody around to help you and you already feel spooky and eerie, I mean, you can become a victim.
Yes.
So I have begun very leery of places like Buffalo Ridge. Okay, Karen, what has been seen here? And a lot, I guess, is legend that you researched and then first-hand accounts. But what have people seen at this weird Buffalo Ridge?
Well, it like you said, started as legend. People thought, oh, it was an old crematorium back in the day and all of this, and that spread like wildfire. Well, it wasn't. It was actually Cincinnati's first planetarium. But then it did go under ruin, so it kind of, you have all the blocks and building parts left there because they just left it to go. And so when people found that part, they thought it was a crematorium. Again, no, not. So, but, kids, people, whatever, first of all, when you drive up there, like, you're driving up and it's like you're surrounded by woods and Mitchell Forest is there, and it's sort of literally feels like it's kind of closing in on you. You really do get that feeling. I'm just telling you know how I felt. And I really did feel like, it was a beautiful spring day when we went. The sun was out. It was gorgeous. And I did feel like things were closing in.
Kind of.
When I did find the area, the place where I took that photo is where a house used to stand, where they said that there were very strange lights, very strange sounds coming from there. People believed there was some sort of presence in that house, and there was always